Imagine you're in a ship with 100 sailors in the middle of the Atlantic. The captain is drunk, and he fires a cannon at the deck of the ship, blasting a hole straight through the bottom. The ship starts filling with water, so you yell, "Hey, let's plug the hole and use these buckets to dump the water overboard." But the sailors are all drunk too, and they yell back, "No, let's reload the cannon and use it to make more holes in the ship, and let's use the buckets to fill the ship with even more water." And they reload and fire the cannon at the deck again, while the rest start bailing water into the boat. Totally insane, right? You see the problem, and you know the only possible solution to the problem. But everyone else is hell-bent on making the problem worse. Now you know how anyone with a drop of common sense feels watching Europe destroy itself. The solution is obvious, but the leaders are absolutely obsessed with making the problem worse. Christian theologian and social critic Os Guinness has been warning Europeans about this for decades. He was born in China during World War II. His parents were medical missionaries. After the communist revolution in China, his family was forced out. He spent the next few decades in Great Britain before moving to the United States. The man has seen it all. At the recent art conference in London, Dr. Guinness pointed out that since the Enlightenment, the West has been trying to replace God and Christianity with something else, namely reason. Why do we need God? Why do we need Christianity when we've got reason? How has that worked out for Europe?
The intended replacement has proved absolutely inadequate. In other words, the Enlightenment, summed up in one word as reason, was intended to be the replacement for the Christian faith, leading humanity forward with progress under reason and not under God.
Now Europe is being confronted by Marxism and Islam, and reason has suddenly become completely unreasonable. So unreasonable that it can't respond to challenges.
But you can see not only from the waves I've mentioned, the red wave of radical Marxism, the rainbow wave of the radical sexual revolution, and the black wave of radical Islamism. But you can also see how secular liberalism itself has failed.
What happens when the educated elite use their reason to attack reason itself?
Ironically, it started with reason. But now, reason, understood by postmodernists, is European power or masculine power or white power, and not universal reason.
The educated elite attack religion, but their replacements turn into replacement religions.
They tried to replace God, but they produced a series of quasi-religions. Take Marxism. It begins by claiming that all criticism begins with a criticism of religion, and it ends as a religion which stifles all criticism.
Liberalism will unite us, and yet liberalism crumbles at the first sign of danger.
But you can see, even since October the 7th, how much of liberalism has demonstrably shifted from liberal to post-liberal and even to highly illiberal. And there's absolutely no question that the intended replacement, the Enlightenment secularism, has failed. It will not do the job for Western civilization.
Drunk European leaders shot a cannonball through the bottom of their own ship. And now that people are realizing the replacement didn't work, they're suddenly looking for something that might actually solve the problem.
Second thing equally clear is that while there has only been a relative resurgence of the Christian faith in some circles, significant circles too, what's been much more clear is that the renewal of faith is now seen to be indispensable.
It's indispensable on an individual level and on a civilizational level. First, the individual level.
Humans need three things on a personal level: meaning, belonging, and purpose. And there's no deeper answers than the Christian faith, rooted in Judaism.
But civilization also needs more than Enlightenment reason offers.
But what we see now goes far beyond that. Because as we're discussing civilization, you can see that faith is critical. It's often called the 3 R's. The roots of civilization, the restraints of civilization, and the renewal of civilization.
The renewal part seems like it would come in handy right about now, but that's not what the secular worldview gives you.
For the secular world, you only have, I was saying this at breakfast, decline and fall. Entropy. There's no other way. You decline, you will fall. And that's part of the run-on rules of the course of history, but not biblically.
Decline and fall. Your civilization may be great, but it won't last forever. It will eventually decline, and after a period of decline, it will fall. But the biblical pattern is a bit different.
For Jews and for Christians, the natural pairing is not decline and fall, but exile and return. Yes, there's exile when people disobey the ways of the Lord and don't live as He called us to live. It produces chaos and displacement and finally exile.
You can decline, and the decline may lead to exile. But exile isn't the same as the fall of civilization.
But if people return to Him, He returns to them and restores their fortunes. And so you have a pairing of exile and return rather than decline and fall. So even in periods of deep decline, which we're experiencing now, we have the hope of return if we return to the Lord properly.
From a secular perspective, you look around at Europe and say, we're declining, rapidly declining. Collapse seems inevitable. From a Christian perspective, you look around at Europe and say, we turned away from God, and now we're in a period of exile, even in our own nations. But we've seen this pattern over and over again, and we know God can restore us.
We're at the showdown moment in Western civilization. Will the radical revolutions regenerate society as they promised, or not?
They will not. I guarantee you they will not.
Will the secular enlightenment of liberalism encourage humanity to go forward and progress with reason alone without God, or not?
It will not. I promise you, it will not.
But also, is the God of Sinai, the God of the burning bush, the God of the burning mountain, and our Lord with the call of Galilee, are these things true or not?
They are indeed, sir. So, Europeans became drunk on prosperity, a prosperity they achieved because of their religion. And these drunk Europeans then came up with the brilliant idea of replacing their religion. They fired a cannonball through the deck of their own ship, and it's been taking on water for some time now. The solution is obvious, but instead of returning to God and bringing about the renewal of civilization, they're busy reloading the cannon and bailing water into the ship. Welcome to human reason unaided by faith in the one who created it. If you'd like to watch and share the full speech by Os Guinness, the link is in the description box.